It says, oh, there we are. We are live.
How
Good.
you doing?
How are you?
I'm well.
Let me go to my page now so I can get you tagged in
Okay.
on the live. It should pop up on my page. Yep, I see it. Edit post. Let me see if I can tag you in, or at least share it on your page. Do me a favor. See if you can see it on
Your page.
yeah, because it's not like letting me tag. It's not giving me the option to like tag you.
Okay, I see it.
Okay, you can share it from there.
Uh, okay,
Alrighty, you got it.
got it. I'm about to
So
put it on my page.
okay. So good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Jazmine Highsmith, and I am the founder of Female Athletes Rock. And I am here this evening with someone I am so honored to have as my very first guest. We met on Twitter. She
Yeah.
was talking, I think it was about student athlete development, and I like jumped in and I shot my shot, and I was like, "Hey, I need to feature you on the website," and that was over a year ago. And since then, we've networked and we've gotten close, and I'm gonna be at her event next month. And so, yeah, without further ado, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Markeshia Grant, and I am from Tampa, Florida. I was born and raised in the great state of Florida. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina currently. I moved here after I finished my tenure in Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay, okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into it. I think I made it clear why we're doing this. Uh, my goal is to set student athletes now up for success, and I think that's pretty much your goal too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, after we finish our sport, it's always what next. And I don't think I was fully prepared for the life that came after that because for so long, all we know is one thing, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's done, it's over, and it's like, what do I do next? And I'm
Right.
like, I don't, I don't know what to do next. Nobody ever told me like this is what's gonna happen next. You saw it, but nobody ever said, yeah, you need to do X, Y, Z, or you should have ABC done. And I'm like, okay, well,
Right.
what our goal is, that's what our purpose is, that's what we plan to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into it. So tell us about yourself and how you got your start in basketball and why basketball.
So, like I said, I'm from Tampa, Florida. I got my start in basketball from one of my neighbors, who I love dearly. He lives literally across the street, and from my family home. His name is Greg Carrington. One day I was outside, like just playing around, and he was like,
Uh-huh.
"Come over here, girl." I was like, "All right." So he just told me to shoot a basketball, and literally from that moment forward, after I made the shot, that's basketball like changed my life.
Right,
And the
right.
interesting thing about that is I never played basketball before that. Like I was a
Okay.
cheerleader. Huh?
You was a cheerleader?
I was a cheerleader. I was a cheerleader.
I was.
So it was just something different. And then I was like, basketball is for boys. It's not for girls. So yeah, so that's how I got my start. And from there we played in like Hoop It Up. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It was in Orlando every summer. We played in Hoop It Up.
Okay.
Um, and then I played travel ball for Stanley Robinson. He used to coach at Robinson High School in Tampa. And then
Okay.
and then I went and played at Wilson Middle School and Coleman Middle School. And then I eventually went to Plant High School.
Oh,
um, I
Plant. That's
left.
there by the army base, right?
Yes, yes,
That's a good high school. They good on
yes,
foot.
yes. I
Okay.
play. I played for Carrie Mann at Plant
Okay.
House School, and she's still there. she is.
Wow.
She's still there, and I'm grateful for her because she was the person that made me believe that I could be really good at basketball. So
Right.
I'm grateful for that. I only spent 1 year with her. After that, I moved to Tallahassee, Florida. And I went to Florida High School and I played for Lisa Kelly. Probably one of the greatest experiences of my basketball career. I won 2 state championships. I'm friends with most of my teammates still. So those were very great relationships that I established then.
Okay.
From there, I went to junior college.
Right.
So I had an unconventional path to Division I basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I went to and played at the College of Central Florida for Cheryl Rice.
Okay.
She's not coaching there. She's not coaching there anymore. Hold on. Yeah. So sorry about that.
Okay.
So yeah, she's not coaching there anymore. She's living in Pittsburgh. She coaches at the college now.
Okay.
Um, that's where I became a student athlete. That's
Uh,
where I really became a student athlete. And I say that because in high school, I just cared about basketball. That's the
oh,
only thing I cared about. I ended up graduating with my associate's degree from there. I was a JUCO All-American. I had 3 offers at the end of like my tenure there. It
uh-huh.
was Miami, it was South Carolina, and it was Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, Katie Meyer she's still at Miami. Gail Gessencore at Texas, and then Don Staley at South Carolina. There's many reasons.
Don
Huh?
too. I probably would have chose Don too. I mean, name.
But the interesting thing about that is like growing up, like I wanted to play for Pat or Gail Gessencore.
Right.
Yeah. And so, having the opportunity to be like recruited by her, that was a dream come true too.
Right.
But like in making my decision, like it was more so about, Coach Staley like believing me in as a person and then like being a friend after I was
Right.
done with basketball. So, that was very important for me.
Right.
So that's how I ended up at South Carolina.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
So, how old were you when you started playing basketball?
so I was like 10 years old.
Okay.
10
That's
years
for
old,
the
but
early development stages where you can actually teach the game, teach fundamentals. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
but I didn't start like taking it serious until I was in the 6th grade.
Sixth grade. And then you went to high school,
Hmm.
JUCO. So now you've done all those things, Sweet 16 appearances, JUCO national champ, all that good stuff.
Hmm.
Uh how has all of that what carried you through all of those seasons?
I think the most important things, or there's 2 things: being disciplined
Mm-hmm.
and trusting the process. Because if you think about, like I said, like you know, when I was in high school, I didn't all I worried about was basketball, right?
Right.
So I was very disciplined in junior college as well as at South Carolina. And then I also trust the process because I didn't go Division I right out of high school too.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that was my end goal, but I just had to go a different route. So those were the 2 things for me.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So now college ends and you pursue professional basketball. Uh,
Hmm.
how was that journey to professional basketball? Is it different? Like, what was the difference from trying to get to college to now playing in the professional arena?
So this is another interesting thing and unconventional. Like my end goal was not to play professionally. Um, yeah. And so when I got the opportunity to do so, because I had a really good senior year,
Uh-huh.
so Coach Daly ended up connecting me with her agent, and so I got an opportunity to play in Germany my first season, which it was pretty interesting. The team I love the team. I love our organization, but I felt like that it was more for me out there.
Okay.
So I ended up leaving that team, and then I went and played for a team that my former teammate was on.
Okay.
So that made my experience so much better because it was somebody I was familiar with and somebody had already played with. So, and we
Right.
did very well together.
Right.
Um, and so that was a really good
Right.
experience.
I can imagine leaving home at 18 and going to college, but leaving still the age of 22, 21, 22, and leaving the country. Like you can't get home, ain't no mama, can't go up the street, can't fly home.
Yeah.
So I can see how that would have been a challenge for you. How long did you play professionally?
I played 2 years, and
Okay.
the thing my goal was to play 3 because
Okay.
I knew it was so much more for me
Right.
to
That you want to
do
pursue.
outside of basketball.
Right, right. So you were coached by Dawn. Like Dawn
Hmm.
I remember when I saw her in 2017 at the Final Four National Championship in Dallas. I had like a fangirl moment. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. So tell us what you've learned from her and how you apply those lessons to your life today.
I think the biggest thing is I always go back to is discipline.
Mhm.
Um, she always says, or she continues to say to players, the disciplined person can do anything.
I
The
like
disciplined person can do anything.
that.
Um, so that is something that I hold true to my success. Just by being disciplined, I can accomplish anything.
Right,
And the second thing that I learned from her is understanding how to connect people and understand how to assemble people around you.
right,
Um, she has loyalty that you'll never see. Like, and it speaks to the person she is, and people believe in what she, stands for.
right.
So I definitely, those are the two things that I learned from her is discipline and just knowing how to assemble people and connect people.
Okay. So when you came back from overseas, did you go ahead right? Did you go straight into your master's program, or when did you start your master's program?
So again, my path is so unconventional.
I love it though.
So I came back.
Everybody has a unique story. No
um,
journey is the same. So
no
however you
journey is
get
the same.
there, you get there. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. As long as you get there.
Right. So I came back. I actually was supposed to go to Israel and play. But my mother did not want me to go to Israel because it was a lot of tension over there at that time, which was fine. And like I said, I only wanted to play 3 years. So I was like, oh, it's time to move in a different direction.
Right.
So I actually ended up getting into coaching and I went back to my alma mater, which was my JUCO.
Okay.
And I was an assistant coach for 6 months.
Okay.
And then I got a call to be a graduate assistant at a university in Alabama. And I decided to leave there after 6 months and go back to South Carolina.
Okay.
Um, and doing so, I went back to South Carolina as a graduate assistant.
Okay.
Um, so I was at South Carolina from 2015 to 2017 as a graduate assistant, and we ended up winning a national championship. Um, that
Our, our paths crossed. I didn't know you then, but I was there.
Yeah, we didn't know each other, but yeah, you definitely was
Our
there.
paths
Like,
definitely crossed.
yeah. And so the great thing about that coming back to South Carolina, it was like everything was coming into full circle.
Hmm.
So what I mean by that is Coach Staley's like pitch to me when she was recruiting me is that she wanted to eventually win a national championship.
Hmm.
So my thing was, I'm gonna go to a program and help build a foundation because that's exactly what my senior class was the foundation for South Carolina.
Right.
Um, and so being able to experience her first national championship as a staff member, like it was like, oh, see, I committed to doing something, and then I seen the process come through.
Right. You're a
So
part of the legacy.
yeah, yeah,
Started that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
a awesome feeling. That had to have been a very amazing feeling.
it was very rewarding because sometimes people can't like think that deep and beyond
Hmm.
what they want for themselves. It would be wonderful to win a national championship, but sometimes you're not going to be that piece. You're just
Hmm.
going to help propel it to that. So that's how I understood that process.
That's I like what you said. You have to help propel. I think some people forget in life. They get so caught up in wanting to be the star or wanting to have the light shined on them, that
Mm-hmm.
you forget that you have to play your part in the background sometimes. You gotta do that in order to be elevated. You have to play your part in the background. So I mean, if we thinking in the sense of being on stage, I got to do the light.
Yeah,
I gotta be an understudy sometimes before I get my elevation. And I think that's amazing how you put that. Like I help to lay this foundation, and some people don't look at it like that because they want instant gratification.
right,
I want to win right now, and
right.
it is a process.
It's a
You don't
process.
win overnight.
You don't. And the interesting thing, she didn't win right away. It
Right,
took some time.
right.
So, and then I understood that, like, and I think all of my teammates understood that.
That's,
So,
I think she's a players coach. You have coaches that coach, and you have players coaches, and players coaches can speak to the players because they at another coach probably would have said that, and kids have been like, "No, I'm okay."
right,
But you guys actually got on board, and the coach is the captain of the ship. And as long as you can get your team to follow you, you do a great job as a coach. I know she is like super proud of you. I remember when I featured you, she shared your feature, and I was like, oh my god, that is like amazing. Some
yeah,
people can go back and talk to their coaches. Some
yeah,
people can call their coach up and say, "Hey, coach, how you doing?" So I love that about her. If I have a kid and she plays basketball, she got to play for Don.
and yeah, the thing about that is I know I can call her for anything. I don't call her
Uh-huh.
for nothing. Like, and the reason why I don't is because I feel like, she knows I'm gonna go my own. I'm gonna be a
Right,
trailblazer, so she
right,
know that about me.
right,
But I know it's there. I know I can do that,
right,
which I'm
right,
grateful for.
right. So you graduate assistant. What career path did you take after that?
So after I left my graduate assistantship, I became a career development facilitator
Okay,
um, at a middle school in Swansea, South Carolina.
okay,
Um, it was a rural area. Pretty. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed doing career development, but it was something that was missing. Like, I don't know if you ever feel like, I know this is my calling. I know
mhm.
this is what I'm supposed to be doing, but I think there's something else that I need to tap into before it all makes sense.
Right. Was it like an uncomfortable feeling? Did you feel like, I'm supposed to be here, but I think I'm supposed to be doing something else too?
I think the feeling that I felt was like an uneasy calm.
Okay.
And so what I mean by that is like you're uncomfortable, you're uneasy because you're growing, because you're being prepared for something else.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's what that was for 2 years.
For two,
Um
you were there for 2 years.
I was there for 2 years.
Okay.
And
And
one day
you left.
it was right before the end of the school year, and
Uh-huh.
something just said there's something else.
Okay.
There's something next.
And you gave them your resignation letter.
Gave them my resignation letter on the
Yeah,
last day of school.
I I think that's amazing because some people get so caught up in being familiar with the place, and it's like, I gotta stay here, I got bills to pay, I got this to do.
Mm-mm.
But you can never get past that feeling like I'm
Mhm.
supposed to be doing something greater. And
Mhm.
that's God just talking to you, telling you right then and there, like, hey, I got something else. Either you go put your faith in me or you go keep your faith in this job because you could have still been there.
Right. And it's like I'm going to pull you
Right.
whether you like it or not. You're going to feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I put in my resignation without another job. I didn't have another job. I did work at like a community center. It's called Harbison Community Center in Columbia, South Carolina. I love the people there, Danelle,
Mhm.
Brianna. I've loved them so much. Um, and that's where I was like, okay, now it's starting to make sense because I could do career development,
Mhm.
life skills, and basketball all together.
Right. Okay. So then COVID hits this year. The program
Mhm.
you're working at ends. What were your thoughts when they called you and was like, "Hey, program ended"? Because we spoke right after that, and I remember what you told me. But you were the most calmest in the event in this moment. You were super calm, and I was like, I don't know if I'm in that calm. You was like, I'm gonna go to Florida for a couple of weeks. Like, you were super calm, and I think that's so commendable. That just says a lot about your character and who you put your faith in. Because you were calm. So when they called you and told you that, what were your initial thoughts, and how did you bounce back from that?
So first, it was March 13th. Actually, that
Mm-hmm.
was the first. That's the first call we got to say that our like it was suspended indefinitely, and that we were gonna be done, and we were gonna go virtual for the further duration of COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember I still met with my girls because I felt like I owed it to them. I had, stuff for them, like goodie bags and all that for them.
Uh-huh.
So I decided to meet with my girls. And then we went virtual. Okay. That lasted all of 2 months. So we got another call
Uh-huh.
on May 7th. May 7th. 9
Uh-huh.
a.m. 9 a.m. on May
Oh my
7th.
God.
And basically, they said we all needed to be on Zoom. And so we all got on Zoom. And as you being a human resource
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Those
person,
things are the whole pandemic. I've been panicky because I was like, "What's this meeting about now?" And I'm not
so
gonna have to, don't give me the blow like that.
right. So as a human resource person, that when you're on a call with employees,
Mm-hmm.
you already know what time it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, the HR lady was on this Zoom call. So I was like, oh, they they about to do it to us. So I literally was laughing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was laughing because I felt it. I
Uh-huh.
felt it. I knew it was coming. Um, and so they told us that our program would be suspended indefinitely, ending on May 29th at the time. It was May 29th.
Okay.
And that we would finish it out, and we needed to tell our kids.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they thanked us for our hard work, and then we had individual meetings after the Zoom with HR as a
Mm-hmm.
team. Um, I won't give specifics on what I was offered after the meeting, uh, but I will say that that was the place that showed me what my purpose was.
Uh-huh.
And I'm grateful to, that nonprofit for giving me the chance to sow seeds in those kids.
Right.
So that was the place that
I
showed
think
me my purpose.
the best part of this story is how you looked at it, because you didn't look at it as a failed opportunity.
Mm-mm.
You looked at it as like another door closing on my journey. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that it's a good thing for athletes, period, anybody, athlete, whatever you are, to hear that when that chapter ends, that doesn't mean life is over. You get some athletes that just like, oh my God, what am I going to do next? Like,
Right.
I have no life. That's all I knew. And I'm like, you got so much more potential and so much more in you. I see it. I don't see how you see it. So I think what you what you're creating next goes right into that. So tell us about Savvy Skills LLC and your first event that's coming up that I'll be a part of in December.
Um, well, I'll go back to when I ended my tenure with the nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing was perseverance.
Right.
Out of that, and you learn that as a student athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that, I called, my lawyer. I called everybody, like, what are the
Right.
next steps? Got all of that finalized. Um, and then it was like my mom. When your mom speaks, you gotta listen.
Absolutely.
It was my mom, because I had cried. Of course, I cried because I
Yeah.
was sad because of my kids. But my mom was like, "What you crying for?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Girl, I'm sad. Can I be sad?" Dang. Um, and she was like, "Well, this is the time for you to start your business." Okay. I stopped crying and literally I went to the beach because the beach is definitely you could probably speak to this. The beach is somewhere that just
It's
rejuvenates me.
calm. Yeah,
Yeah,
reduce stress. It's just
yes, yes,
a natural calm.
yes. And while I was at the beach, savvy skills came to me.
Hmm.
Savvy skills, and so I got the call on May 7th, right? May 12th, I filed for my LLC for Savvy Skills.
Hmm.
And so, like I said, the nonprofit was the place that showed me what my purpose was. So I wanted to model Savvy Skills after that. So
Okay.
Savvy Skills is essentially a platform for student athletes
Hmm.
to, have access and
Hmm.
resources to life skills, to skills training, you
Hmm.
know, to connections,
Hmm.
so that's how Savvy Skills came about.
We talking about access. So we talked about this a little bit before. So let's 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 divulge more into that access for student athletes. Because when I speak of access in my dissertation, I did my dissertation on paper play and the
Mm,
benefits of paper play.
mm-hmm,
And basically, my argument is um, due to the environments they go and get these kids out of, we lack access in some of those areas.
mm-hmm.
Well, I think paper play is necessary. If you ever try to get home during a holiday to go see your family, you don't know what these families have to go through to get their kids home.
Right.
They borrowing money. They asking for money from aunties, uncles. So it's just those type of things. So when we talk about access, let's talk about the access that that we're speaking of.
So for me, access is giving people who don't have access resources.
Right.
Um, and through access, you get a resource, you have opportunity. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like my life has been about if only you give me access, I can do well with the
Have
opportunity.
the opportunity, right?
Yeah, and from there, like I think equates to success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So access, opportunity, resource, success.
All that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your event is coming up. Um, tell us about that. What are we going to expect from it? Are we going to do more events? Like, so what's your plan with that?
So Think Beyond the Game actually came about just being on the grassroots circuit, just seeing like all the exposure events and them not having the component of life skills. A lot of basketball and no life skills.
No life skill.
No life skills. Which sometimes it's okay, but I felt like it was an area of opportunity that I could capitalize off of.
Right.
And my niche is life skills, so I
Mhm.
was like, let me do something that's gonna be outside of the box.
Right.
So Think Beyond the Game is just a makeup of former athletes. I think that was important. High caliber former athletes who
Right.
understand the game at a high level, who have valuable life skills and life experiences, basketball experiences, track experiences,
Mhm.
volleyball experiences, all sports.
Right.
Um, and so I thought would be a good idea to incorporate that in basketball.
Okay.
So for the first part of the day, we'll do life skills, and then in the evening we'll do basketball.
Basketball.
Um, we're gonna have some awesome people there.
Yeah,
Like
you
you
went down the
said,
list and all the names. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be good. Like, if that kid not there, you missing out.
we're missing out, and we're trying to keep it, very intimate because I feel like once you have too many people, it becomes oversaturated.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I'm trying to keep it down to 40, 50.
Uh-huh.
We're almost there. We're almost there. So we got 2 weeks until the first event, December 5th. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having you there to cover it.
I'm
Um,
excited. I'm so excited.
it's
So
gonna be.
how can everybody register for it and stuff like that?
So essentially, it's for middle school, 6th through 8th grade, and those are the classes 2025s through 2027s. And it'll be December 5th and December 12th. And they can register at SavvySkillsAcademy.com. It'll have a link that says Think Beyond the Game registration, and they can go there and register. It's $150 per session. So if you decide you want to go to both, just let me know. If you want to go to one, just let me know. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you got a specific audience. Why the middle school kids?
So I think that's a very impressionable age. And again, I work with middle school in my career development facilitator position, and my nonprofit was middle
Right.
school. So it all like it's almost the process. Like, yeah, you need to be working with middle school kids. And I love them. I love that age. Again, they're very impressionable kids, and they're willing to learn.
Right. I think we got to start early. The earlier we get them, we don't have to do so much work when they leave college and they're 21 and they talking about, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you give them the tools at 12, 13, 14 years old, like, okay, yeah, this is sports, but I can do this too.
Right.
And you do a lot of different things. So what other hobbies and interests do you have outside of basketball?
Whew, girl. So I love to hang out with my friends. I love to hang out with my family. I like to cook. I read a lot. I watch a lot of documentaries, especially like self improvement, self help. Because I think that's important. Like,
Right.
as you evolve as a person, you always need like things to
Right.
feed off of. Self-care is important to me, so I definitely get massages. I go for walks. I go hang out in the park. Like
Photography too. I saw your photography, your iPhone photography.
my iPhone photography. Yeah, so I do photography sometimes. It was definitely a big part of my life when I was in high school. But you know how a lot of things you were interested in, you just
Yeah.
evolve from, but now like they come back full circle. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I like to craft. I like to paint. I do a lot. I do a
That's,
lot. Yeah.
that's awesome. So, how would you sum up life after sports? What has it taught you, and what are you teaching other athletes?
So I think life after sport is basically what you learned while you were playing the sport.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of life skills you can apply to your career, especially like I stated with perseverance, like that's something you learn while competing.
Right.
So I think that's something to apply to life
Mm-hmm.
after sports. Um, then I also think it is something like how you understand that process of
Mm-hmm.
transitioning and understanding the steps that you need to take, you know. So I think those are important.
What has life after sports taught, what has it taught you?
Whew. I think I can go back to like, what my journey has taught me,
Uh-huh.
discipline
Right.
and trust in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Because, when you're high level athlete, you playing D1, a lot of things are just there for you, right? A
Mm-hmm.
lot of things are given to you.
Give it to you. Here you
Given
go.
to you.
Yes, you-
Your schedule is done. Your meals are ready for you.
Mhm.
So just understanding that that's not how life works. It's just you were in a situation that was helping you and
Right.
you were benefiting from
So
what
here,
just do it. Right.
yeah,
So just understanding that life is not gonna be like that. And
yeah,
just understanding that you need to apply those life skills that you learn.
right. And what are you teaching athletes that you come in contact with now?
I think the most important thing is being intentional with their time,
Mm-hmm.
uh, understanding that there's always going to be a process.
Always.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and what you see on social media, you don't see how this person got there. Like, you just see the finished product.
Mm-hmm.
You might see an offer, and you like, how she got that offer, or
Right.
like,
You don't
why
see the being put in.
you don't
Yeah.
see the work? So I think like you gotta be disciplined. You gotta work. Like, and your time is gonna come because whatever is for you is not gonna pass you by.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Right.
think that's the biggest thing that I believe in.
Right. I think for me in sports, just seeing myself put in the work and knowing what the outcome is going to be. And I think you can apply it to life. As long as I'm doing the work, it's going to be a great outcome, but I
It's
have
gonna
to
be a
do the
great
work.
outcome. Yeah.
I have to do the work. Talent only gets us so far. It's so many talented people in it. Everybody's talented, but everybody don't work hard. And that's what I try to preach to people. Like, I don't care how talented you are. You could be LeBron James talented, but you don't work hard. Like,
Right.
I can't do nothing with you. You're not coachable. You don't listen. Like, your grades bad. I can't do nothing with you. But if you work hard, if you're a hard worker with your talent, it's gonna take you
So far.
much further than you can go. When you
Right.
use your talent, it limits you to a box. I'm just here because I'm talented. This is all I
Mhm.
can do. But when you put the work with talent, oh my God, that's how LeBron James is LeBron James. That's how Kobe's Kobe. That's how
Right.
Jordan. That's how some people just forget that aspect. And I think sports, as an athlete, that is, I think more of us need to look back at those lessons. Like, I did that to get there. So what if I
Mhm.
did this to get to the next level, or what I
Mhm.
want to do? It doesn't have to be professional sports. It doesn't have to be anything, but what else in life? You know, um, what lessons do you think athletes need to know? We're college athletes talking to the seniors. What do they need to know as they transition out of college?
The one thing they need to know is what they want to do in case that professional life doesn't work out.
Right.
Because again, not a lot of people are going to the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
There's 12 roster spots, and then there's
Right.
144 athletes. So
Right.
think about that. So
That's crazy.
yeah. So it's a slim to none chance that you may make it to the WNBA. You could go overseas, but we're in a pandemic as well.
Right.
Um, NBA, the numbers are much better, but at the same time, like, be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Be realistic. NFL, same thing. Like, I think it goes for every sport. You got to be realistic. Like,
Yeah.
the average
Absolutely.
the average time you're playing in the pro, unless you're an elite athlete, you will not have longevity.
Right.
It's like 3 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Three to
Mm-hmm.
5 years. Um, and then like have a plan. Like, you can be multi-dimensional. We're all multi-dimensional beings.
Right.
So you can play basketball, you can get a master's, you can create stuff, you can
Mm-hmm.
rap, you can do whatever you want to
Whatever
do.
you
Like,
want
you
to
don't just have to be an athlete or
do.
just a basketball player or NFL player.
I think because it's pushed in our heads at such a young age that we can't focus on anything else. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
remember in high school, well, you gotta do this, you can't do this. Why not? What's
Mm-hmm.
why I can't do both? So you saying multi-dimensional, that pretty much like, hey, do everything.
Do everything.
Parents with kids, let them do everything. If they want to play the violin on Saturdays, let them.
Let them. Let them.
Let them, because not only it adds so many layers to your
Who you
identity.
are.
You're just
Mm-hmm.
wrapped in being an athlete, and that's all you know. When that life ends, it ends hard for you. It's like a retirement. Like, you lose yourself because I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know who I am outside of this sport. You don't have people running up to you saying good game or I see
Right.
you on TV.
Right.
You don't
That's
have that anymore. So
that's
yeah.
gone. And so, just to add to the multi-dimensional
Hmm.
aspect, it's like now you're not just being asked for a job for a basketball player. Like, oh, you're an engineer too? Oh, you can do that too.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like being a jack of all trades, like not being limited to one thing. So
Right.
I think that's very important.
Yeah,
And
my
I
best
think
tell people like, yeah, I did track and field. You did? I went to University of South Florida. That was my oh my God, I didn't yeah, but I can do all these things. Like
right,
I can do several things.
right.
Many things.
And just like you play sports,
Mm-hmm.
you're HR, you got a doctorate, like, and you
Yeah,
run female athlete rock. Like,
yeah.
it's almost like, we just were brainwashed to think that, oh, basketball or that sport specifically is what's going to make or allow you to make it, but it's not. It's you got so many other aspects.
Uh-huh. It creates a platform. It's the foundation of the rest of your life. Like you said, the longevity, like if you think about it in terms of like numbers, you don't play professional sports for the rest of your life. You play for a period, and when your time is up, your time is up. So what are you going to do next?
What you gonna do next? Make
you,
sure you have that plan.
you go sit and just think about the glory days, post your pictures every week so people know what you did. Like some people are so lost, their identities are completely wrapped. And I'm like, you gotta find something else you like. So what's
Right.
something you know now that you wish you knew when you were a student athlete?
Whew. Oh, so I had to sit on that question because you know, like I said, like what's for us won't pass us by. And
Right.
I think I learned the lessons that I needed to learn to help me to apply to life as during my journey. Um, so I honestly can say to you that I don't know what I don't know. I really don't, because my experience was really good. My
Right.
experience was really good at my junior college and at South Carolina. So I don't have any examples for that one.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I think all the lessons they still apply. Uh,
Hmm.
Like somebody, one of my friends was like, I don't know how you just get through stuff. I'm like, because that's what you're supposed to do. What am I supposed to do? But in track and field, you had to get over it. You get 3 attempts in an event, in the field events, you get 3 attempts. If you mess up on the first one, you can't relish on your name about to be called again. You got to get over
Right.
it. You got to
Right.
jump the hurdle and come back and get ready for your next throw, because if not, you just wasted the whole day. So yeah, I think that's dope.
But
So
you know what? I will say this. I'll say this. Trust in the process of the transition
yeah,
from high school to college,
mm-hmm.
college to life after sports. Like that. That's important. Just
It's a process.
understanding it's a process.
It's definitely a process because your way of thinking has changed too. And like you said, when we are athletes, especially once you go to that Division 1, division, whatever you go, whatever level you go, everything's handed to you.
Hmm.
Said like you got somebody telling you, hey, you got a test due today.
Right.
Did you study for your test? Like you have all of that. Whereas once you leave that, it's like, oh wait, I got something to do today, don't
I
I?
gotta pay my rent.
I can't, like, nobody's telling you what to do anymore, and we're so used to that, like telling you what to eat, what to wear, what time you need to show up. Like, my coach had this thing: if you early, you late.
Right.
On time, you late. So like you would show up on time in the bus, getting ready to go, and he's like, I
Oh,
told you to get here early.
you better not show up on time at the bus with Coach Staley. You better be there 10 minutes.
She leaving y'all.
No, you better. She leaving on time. So on time is late.
My coach, he left one of our teammates. We was headed to the Big East Championship. One of the 4x1, one of the legs on the 4x1. She was not there, and he was like, "Oh, I'm leaving. She can get there to the airport the best way she know." I was like, "Y'all, he left our 4x1." He was like, "That's why we have an alternate." Oh, okay, it's your ship, but I appreciate that because
Yes.
I like people taking me note, like showing up late on me.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you like 10 minutes late. Come on, man.
Right.
So 3 keys to success.
Woo. Three keys. I think we talked about most of them.
Uh-huh.
Discipline. is one.
Discipline.
Trusting the process and working smart.
Working smart.
Working smart.
Not hard.
Not hard.
I think we make it hard because we're so determined to like just do things the hard way, and they don't have to be hard. But if we work smarter, get a lot more further.
Yes.
So we're about to wrap things up soon. So how do we contact you and stay up to date with your events, what all you have going on? I know 2020 kind of put a damper on everything else, but going forward with 2021 approaching, hopefully COVID leaves us alone soon so we can just go back to life. Mm-hmm. How do we stay in contact with you and stay up to date with your events and stuff?
So on all social media, IG, Twitter, Savvy5 at Savvy5, and then my website is SavvySkillsAcademy.com, so they can keep up to date on that. And then Facebook is Markeshia A. Grant.
Markeshia. So I had fun. I was nervous. This is my first time, but it's like, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I don't know how this is going to work out, but it worked out perfectly. I'm so happy
I'm happy too.
You my first, and you did a great job.
Oh, thank you. So this is my first time doing a live myself.
You did great. You did great. And it'll be on the internet, so it'll be recorded, and I'll send it to you. So, but thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate hearing more about your journey. I knew a little bit, but I know more now, and I'm just so thankful to have you as a friend because you're my friend. And I can't wait to see you in 2 weeks. It's gonna be
fun. We're ready. We're ready for Think Beyond the Game. So I appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching. I appreciate you. Until next week. Bye.